So once I figured out how to turn those 80-hour weeks into 16 in my franchise and more than triple that $1 million, I had it all, right? I had the time, the money, the freedom, the flexibility, and everyone thought I was crazy for selling that business because I had it all, but I knew I wanted more and I wanted to make a bigger impact. And I said to myself, how can I create a ripple effect?
Welcome to Making It, the podcast where winning entrepreneurs share how they're building for success and the lessons they're learning along the way. I'm Danny Iny, the founder and CEO of Mirasee. We help coaches, consultants, and creators monetize their gifts. So if you think your expertise should be driving more income than it is, we help you bridge that gap. We do this because we believe ethical and impactful businesses can change the world for the better. This show helps you do exactly that. And if you want to learn even more, you can check out our business education programs and online community at mirasee.com.
Thanks, Danny. Hello, everyone. I'm Michi, your host and producer, and today on Making It, I'm joined by business coach Sailynn Doyle. Here on the show, we will talk about what it really takes to keep making it on your own terms as an expert entrepreneur and diving into the pivots, goals, challenges, where you might be stuck and what's next. Welcome, Sailynn, to our show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I love that you position yourself as your fun business coach. And as I understood, your company is Passion, Purpose, Posture. So let's start there. Let's start at the beginning of your entrepreneurship. What inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so that's such a great question. So back in 2006, on a sunny Sunday in August, I was sitting on my boyfriend's boat and I was having a conversation with the girl next to me. And she said, "What do you want to do?" And out of my mouth popped, "Start my own business." I think she meant for like drinks or dinner later, but that's what came out. And then I dragged myself into the office on Monday morning, and there was an email that said, "Have you ever thought of starting your own business?" And I was like, "Oh, it's meant to be." And what it was a franchise consulting company. And they took me on a journey where I looked at smoothie shops, sub shops, dog training, closet design, everything. And nothing really hit home until, unfortunately, of Thanksgiving that year, my boyfriend's father unexpectedly passed at the age of 57. And it really woke me up saying, if this is something you want to do, like, you need to do it now. Life is short. And again, the universe sent me a sign. And this woman who owned a franchise was trying to get in with the company I was working for. And I said, "Is this a franchise?" And she said, "Yes." And I ended up purchasing one of those offices less than a month later at the last day of the year. And that was the beginning of my entrepreneur journey. I opened in 2007 and ran that business for 10 years.
And what happened after 10 years?
So I go into everything. I don't like to think I'm a commitment phobe, but after 10 years, I sold the business. I actually go into everything with an exit strategy because I know that I want to come in, I want to make an impact, and then I want to get out while I still love it, right? And so I had a 10-year plan. Unfortunately, around year 3, after working 80 hours for the first 3 years, when I should have been celebrating my first million in business, I was actually sobbing in my car on a weekday morning at 9 a.m. because I had just covered another shift for a caregiver. I owned a senior home care franchise who had called out sick again. And I was exhausted. And that was really my draw a line in the sand moment that something had to change because I couldn't keep going at the pace that I had been going those 80-hour weeks. And so year 3, I was ready to hang up that for sale sign. But luckily, I turned it around and I made the 10 years, and it was the best 10 years I could have asked for. I learned so much about entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And also, it's kind of a learning curve also, as you understand that the 80 hours a week is not going to be sustainable. So if we're kind of jumping forward, so what kind of entrepreneur are you today? What's your business? Who's your client? Who do you work with? And what transformation do you help them achieve, like before and after? I understand you work primarily with women as your clients.
Yes. So thank you for asking. So once I figured out how to turn those 80-hour weeks into 16 in my franchise and more than triple that $1 million, I had it all, right? I had the time, the money, the freedom, the flexibility, and everyone thought I was crazy for selling that business because I had it all, but I knew I wanted more and I wanted to make a bigger impact. And I said to myself, how can I create a ripple effect? And so after I sold that business, I was in direct sales for a while, and then I realized that I just loved business. A marketing coach to me said, Sailynn, you love business. Go be a business coach. And I was like, and so I jumped into business coaching in January of 21. And the reason I love it so much and why I do what I do is because when I help a woman get her life back, if she's overworking and not making enough money in her business, then she goes on in her business to help others. And so for me, it's been the best way to create the biggest impact as quickly as possible. So now what I do is help women entrepreneurs do what I learned, which was basically there are 4 core pillars in business. And those 4 core pillars are the same pillars that every single successful business uses. Think Amazon, Apple, Airbnb. And when I implemented them into my franchise, that's what got me out of those 80-hour weeks. That's what allowed me to triple my $1 million. And that's what allowed me to 4x my personal paycheck. So those 4 core pillars are now what I teach women entrepreneurs. But in just 90 days, we integrate them into their business so their business is ready to scale to $1 million without getting to the point where they're sobbing in their car like I was. And so that's who I help. Women entrepreneurs, they might be working 50 plus hours a week. They're at a time capacity where maybe they're doing one-to-one consulting and they have no more time to give, so their revenue is stagnant. Maybe everything they've tried in the past that's worked to grow their revenue is no longer working anymore. And a lot of them are experiencing early signs of burnout. So fatigue, anxiety, exhaustion, depression, weight gain, and they're just really at this point where it's like something has to change and I need help.
Yeah. So if it's possible, could you just quickly walk through what kind of those 4 pillars are?
So, what I teach women entrepreneurs is it's not brain surgery. There's no secret. I always love to say there's no secret to $1 million in business. It's just those 4 core pillars. And so, what I do is I break down really complex business strategy that people tend to overcomplicate, and I put them in a simple to learn format. So, the first pillar is structure. This consists of 3 key elements, which is basically what do you want for your personal life? Because if you don't know what you want, then you will stay on that hustle hamster wheel going around and around and around, right? So if you're feeling like all you do is work and you're not getting anywhere and you haven't achieved success, that's because you don't have a clear personal vision. The second thing is you have to put a stake in the ground and say what your business stands for, right? Who is your ideal client? And we want people to love you or not love you. All the people in the middle that are like vanilla, we don't want them. We want them to love you so much that they want to work with you, that they, tell everyone about you. And that's because you're confident with who your business serves and how you help them. And then the third critical element is what makes your business unique, right? So what is your unique offer or program? In this day and age, people want to know that you can get them from A to Z and there's a process and it's not like willy-nilly, right? So that's the first pillar, structure. The second one is systems. So when we have the structure in place, then we can systematize your whole business from your day, week, month, quarter plan to customer onboarding, offboarding, everything in between. That sets us up for pillar 3, which is your support team. And
Mm.
in this time, everything that is outside of your zone of genius needs to be done by either a human or a piece of technology. And so many of the women that I work with have tried working with virtual assistants or, team members in different situations, and they say it didn't work. And that's because they're missing the pillar 1 and 2 structure and systems, right? So if you've hired someone and it didn't work, it's because you were missing the first 2 pillars. And then pillar 3 sets us up for pillar 4, which is streamlining technology,
Mm.
tools, and automations. If you want to make money 24 hours a day without you working 24 hours a day, then you have to embrace technology, embrace automation, and really get your business to be working when you and your team are not.
Mm.
So, those are the 4 core pillars that every single successful business that I have ever researched or known about utilizes. And my business uses them. I'm sure this podcast uses them. And so when they're in your business, that's what allows you to get your business ready to scale to a million and beyond with ease and not having like crying fits every 6 months.
Do you have a moment looking back or way or recent? It's up to you, where you kind of felt this sense of, gee, I really don't have everything all figured out.
I don't think
About that?
anyone has anything figured out, right? It's
True.
life. It's a journey. It's supposed to be a wild ride. And, that's why I share everything I know with my clients, is because I feel like if I know something, then I should share it with someone else to give them quicker, better, faster results. And, there was only one point, like when I drew that line in the sand back in 2010, when I had made my first million, I said to myself, if this is what success requires, 80-hour weeks, broken relationships because I was working so much. I almost missed a mental health scare with a family member. And I said, if this is what's required of success, then it may not be for me. And so I want to make sure that women don't get to that point where they feel like if this is success, it's not for me. In 2024, we've had the most businesses close than ever been in the past 10 years. And I think it's so sad because so many women have built something and they've worked really hard, but they couldn't get to that next level or they couldn't figure it out. And they're really trying to go it alone. And really, there's so many resources out there. And when you work with a coach or a mentor, or just any sort of support, it's so much easier in your business. So I'm not someone who likes to gatekeep information. If something that I can share with you, a resource, a tool, a story, an experience, anything, I will tell you with the goal that it helps you or gives you just a little nugget of information in order to make your journey the best it possibly can.
Bringing back to the present moment, because you just spoke about goals and you share everything. So what's your goal? What's you working towards in the next, like, 1, 2, 3 years? What
Yeah,
does that
so
look
my
like for you?
goal is to achieve a million a month in revenue by the time I hit 50, which is 2028. So the goal this year was to 10x revenue. Next year, same thing. And that will get me on track to hit that goal. 1 million per month, putting it out there to the universe and everyone else. And, this is something that I really learned from a mentor. She said to me, there's no reason to keep your goals or your dreams like hidden, right? Like we make a wish and we think we can't tell anyone because it won't come true. But actually, when you put it out there, it becomes even more opportunity to come true because people are cheering you on or helping you on your journey. And just a fun fact, I don't know if you know, but only 2% of women entrepreneurs will hit a million in revenue ever. And so
Mm.
I didn't understand that impactful number back in 2010 when I hit my first million. And so I just think we're at a time where everyone should be able to hit that goal if they have those four core pillars in place. And that's why I'm so dedicated to helping women integrate them into their business over 90 days, because there's truly no secret to a million. It's
No.
just those four pillars.
Yeah. Yeah. And what would you say was next big challenge for you trying to get to that point in your business?
You know, I really don't like embrace the word challenges. I mean, everyone says, you fail a lot in business, but to me, it's never a failure, right?
Mm,
I think a lot of my success has come because I have crystal clear clarity on what I want. And you don't really know what you want unless you take action. And
mm,
I take a lot of messy action.
mm,
Sometimes it goes really well, sometimes it doesn't, but it's all really an opportunity to get some data. And this is one of the things that I really encourage my clients to do is I'm like, okay, let's take what we have, let's go take action, and then let's come back and really look at the results
mm,
and then make a plan to fine tune or tweak them to get better results. And I think what I've seen so much this year is so many women are struggling with getting clarity. I hear so much, if I could just figure out XYZ, then I could ABC. Well, no one ever really knows 100% the answer, right? It's all about trying things. And so if you really want clarity, my biggest piece of advice is to take action, messy or not. And so when we look at challenges, challenges are really just opportunities for you to try something and see how it goes. I owned a senior home care business, and my theory has always been as long as someone is not dying, then we're doing okay. So if you put a post on social media or you put an offer out there and no one buys, or someone does buy and then you realize you don't like that offer anymore, it's okay. No one got hurt.
yeah. True.
So really, it's just an opportunity for us to embrace entrepreneurship in this wonderful roller coaster of a journey that it is.
True. Do you have a team? Are you working on your own? I understand you want to grow your business. So, and you work you're looking to scale.
What I'm working on right now, I just got back from a week in LA to do a couple of TV shows. And so for me, as a little girl,
Mm,
I always wanted to be famous, but I never thought that was possible. Like I never I dreamt about it, but it was never like, let me go do this or that. I never put it on a vision board. I never did any of that. But when I got really clear this year on I was going to get to that 1 million per month goal by 2028. I realized that visibility was going to play a really big impact. And so manifesting and living my life and really having that first pillar, that structure pillar, this is so integral to scale in place this year. I've attracted opportunities like the shows in LA. And so for
mm,
me, one of the things that I'm focusing on is really looking for opportunities where I can reach more women through TV, through video, so that way I can make a bigger, quicker impact and really try and help more and more women so we don't have another year of so many businesses
mm.
closing because they don't know what else to do. So probably being on TV is not stepping out of my comfort zone because I'm like, okay, let's try it and see how it goes. But it's more what's stepping out of my comfort zone is just the whole process. I don't know anything about it, right? I don't know how it works. I don't have any insight into how to make that happen. So that's what I'm going to be working on over the next 6 months and seeing if that's one, an avenue that I do want to pursue. And then two, what's the impact we can make with that? And then three, how fast can we get that impact to scale, right? Let's maximize it if it's the right avenue to take.
You said something there that I think is crucial. It's being comfortable with the uncertainty, getting out of the perfectionism state of mind and just as you say, having fun trying to build your business. And in that sense, it kind of ties beautifully into my next question. Here at Mirasee, we're focusing on always expanding our learning and in all sorts of things, our community with entrepreneurs and within the team as well. What programs, coaching, masterminds, or community has been very valuable for you in growing your business or to you personally? What made that investment worth it for you?
Yeah. So back in 2006, when I got that, email from that franchise consulting company, and then I had actually made a decision to buy a franchise before I signed on that line, family and friends that I was discussing the opportunity with were like, but why a franchise? You're paying someone to tell you what to do. Why don't you do it yourself? Well, I was, 26, 27 years old. And to me, paying someone a percentage to tell me what to do to get quicker, better, faster results was like a no brainer. And so from back in 2006 to now, I have always thought if I can pay someone to, tell me how to get those faster results and maybe skip some of those hurdles, then that was absolutely worth it. And so, I invested in a franchise business model. I've invested in many coaches throughout the years, whether
Mm-hmm.
it be for marketing
Mm-hmm.
or, Facebook
Mm-hmm.
ads or messaging, so many different things, because I know that I don't know everything. I have a zone of genius of what I'm good at. And then I want someone else to teach me what they're good at. When
Mm-hmm.
I build my teams in my business, I hire teams of right now it's virtual assistants that work inside of their zone of genius, right? So I
Yeah.
might have someone working 10 hours a month doing social media. I might have someone else working 5 hours a month working on creating PDF documents for me. I might have someone else doing 10 hours a month doing video editing, because when you work inside your zone of genius, you're doing something that you love and it is something that you're really good at. And when you do, then you're usually working quicker
Yeah.
because you're good at it. You're
Yeah.
not figuring it out. And so then that allows me to, not have to pay as much because it's not taking them as long, right? And it's the same thing when, hiring coaches or investing in programs and masterminds and all of those different things. If you become part of a community or an organization or a program that can give you insights into where you want to go, why wouldn't you make that investment? I mean, it's a business expense and it's something that you can then take that information and have that for life.
Yeah. I agree. Still, there are uh, entrepreneurs probably at the very beginning that feel they don't have the capital or the money to invest in that. But in the long run, that is one of the most important investment I feel that you can make.
It's the whole chicken and egg thing, right? So when I
Yeah.
speak with a woman and we do a 30-minute complimentary skill strategy session where I help them map out their 90-day blueprint, and so they say, I don't know if I'm ready or I don't have the investment, I usually it's that chicken and egg is what comes first. Like, do you want to waste time trying to figure it out on your own, or would you like to double down for 90 days and get this blueprint into your business, right? And so I think it really depends on people's mindset and how they've been brought up in life. So, first of all, hard work, everyone thinks if I just work hard, then I'll be successful, right? But hard work does not guarantee success. If it did, then all of us working a lot of hours would already be millionaires, and so
Yeah.
many are not. But let me explain it this way. So you go on Pinterest, you see this amazing recipe, right? For this beautiful, pie, right? And you're like, I'm going to reproduce this. So you read the recipe, you go to the grocery store, you
Hmm.
get the ingredients, you do all the hard work baking, you put it in the oven, the timer dings, you take it out, and it looks nothing like the recipe on Pinterest, right? It's not that you didn't work hard, right? You did, but it's not going to guarantee your success, right? And so that's the thing is I think so many women or entrepreneurs think that they have to put in their time. They have to work hard in order to earn the right to invest in themselves. I normally work with women that are more established in business, but I love when a new entrepreneur comes to me with either like a couple thousand in revenue or
Mm-hmm.
no revenue, and they say, I want to do it right from the beginning. Because they have that forward thinking that says, let me invest now and do it right instead of building this, what I say, like beast of a business, and then having to go back and fix it,
To fix it.
right? So I love working with those women because they're so smart. They're confident in themselves. They know that making that investment is going to get them quicker results. And I saw the same thing in my franchise. So many women had started similar businesses to what I had in my territory, but they went like the, mom and pop business, no franchise route. My business skyrocketed and theirs never did because they were stuck trying to figure it out where I had a team telling me, go do this, whatever. So, um, really investing is more about what do you want? What's your least pain, right? Do you want to
Yeah.
put out the money or do you want to put out the time? And so that's a decision for individuals that they have to make.
Yeah. True. True. This podcast is called Making It, and I'm curious, do you have a vision? What would making it mean for you?
Love this question so much because here's what I know. After owning a senior home care franchise for 10 years and working with seniors at the end of their life, I can tell you firsthand that no one ever said to me, I wish I had worked more. Nope. They all said things to me like, I wish I had a better relationship with my spouse. I wish my kids were here caring for me versus me paying you. I wish that I had taken that trip. I wish, I wish, I wish. And so when you hear this for 10 years, it's really that wake up call in your life. And that's one of the reasons why I sold. I knew that I wanted to, live my most epic life. And when I sold my business, I sold everything, my business, my house, my car, everything that I had. And we downsized to a 400 square foot RV and have been living this very simple lifestyle by the beach. And for me, making it is really living my best life, which is finding happiness within, finding joy in the sun shining, having easy mornings where I can sleep until I'm rested, enjoy my morning routine, go for a walk by the beach, and really just know like this is what life is all about. Money makes the world go round. We're never going to get away from that. But money is just a tool to help you get other things in your life. And so my definition of making it is living my best life, not necessarily filled with stuff or money or whatever. Sure, I like nice things. Lily Pulitzer is my favorite clothing brand, right? But, I buy those things not to make me happy, but because I enjoy the fun, whimsical colors and prints. It just makes my happiness explode even more. And so, really, this is why in my 4 pillar program, in the structure pillar, the absolute first thing we do is I want my clients to define what is your definition of success, right? Because we need to know what we're working towards and we need to know what it is. So when we achieve it, we can say, I've made it, right? Making it. And if you don't have that, you will struggle in business because this is truly one crazy ride. And so you have to have something that's constantly grounding you. And so that is such an important thing in business. One, know what you want. And two, realize that all the millions of dollars that you're going to make isn't going to make you happy. But sure, it can make your life a lot easier along the way, but you have to have that fulfillment and happiness within in order to truly live your epic life.
Yeah. Such inspiring words. And also, you come across as someone that really dares to take that kind of leap and pivot into something that feels more authentic and true to you. So, as a way to wrap up our conversation, what haven't I asked you that you think is crucial in terms of being an expert based entrepreneur and business coach, a fun business coach?
What haven't you asked? Oh gosh, you have asked some amazing questions. I think ultimately we go into business in order to have more. But really, in order to have more, you have to be more, right? So whether that's for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your community, and being an entrepreneur is just a benefit and a tool and a vehicle to get us to live our one amazing life. You get one life. And in my life, I've had to experience, working with seniors, losing my dad at a young age, my boyfriend's dad at a young age, and really seeing like you get one shot at this thing called life. And I want women to know that tomorrow is not guaranteed, which
Mm.
may sound a little, sad and doom and gloom, but, that project that you're working on can wait, right? Go say yes to that, opportunity of hanging out with your family or your friends and really build a business that supports the life that you want, and don't say when I'm successful or when I hit 1 million or when I do this, then I will. Like, go do it now. And if you don't know how, then reach out to me. Let's talk, right? Because you truly get one life. And I hate when I see women have their wake up call when something personally hits home. They get sick, a family member gets sick, someone passes away. Like, don't wait for that traumatic, sad experience to make a change. Let's make the change now and then go live our best life possible.
That is a beautiful ending. We have one shot at this called life, so don't wait around. It's been so great having you here, Sailynn. And before we just close and wrap up, where's the best place for people to connect and learn more about your work? We're going to put your LinkedIn in the show notes, of course, but where would you like people to go?
Yeah, so the best place to find me, other than on every social media platform, is my website. So that is www.passionpurposeposture.com. On there, you can learn about me, my programs. You can book that complimentary scale strategy session where we get on a call and basically map out your 90-day blueprint of how to get your business to that next level that you're looking for. Always open to connecting. Send me a DM. Let me know that you saw me on the Making It podcast. And what was your biggest aha that really triggered you to reach out? I would love to have a conversation.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us on Making It. And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in. And here's Danny to close us out.
That's it for this episode of Making It. Thanks for watching or listening. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and like on YouTube or your favorite podcast player to catch future episodes. This show is brought to you by Miracy. We help coaches, consultants, and creators monetize their gifts. So if you think your expertise should be driving more income than it is, we help you bridge that gap. We do this because we believe ethical and impactful business can change the world for the better. This show helps you do exactly that. And if you want to learn even more, you can check out our business education programs and online community at Miracy.com.